The Rise and Fall of Amaterasu. A deep dive into Naruto's most iconic jutsu Amaterasu, the black flames of the Mangekyo Sharingan, stands as one of the most iconic and visually striking jutsu in Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. Its allure lies not only in its raw destructive power, but also in its profound thematic resonance, tying into the complex narratives of characters like Itachi and Sasuke Uchiha. However, despite its initial portrayal as an unstoppable force, Amaterasu undergoes a significant decline in effectiveness as the series progresses, a phenomenon often referred to as its nerf. This analysis explores Amaterasu's origins, mechanics, narrative significance, and the reasons behind its diminished role, offering a comprehensive look at why this once godlike jutsu became a shadow of its former self. The mythic origins of Amaterasu. Amaterasu draws its name from the Shinto goddess of the sun, a fitting inspiration for a jutsu characterized by flames hotter than the sun itself. Introduced in Naruto and expanded upon in Naruto Shippuden, Amaterasu is a signature ability of the Mangekyo Sharingan, a rare and powerful evolution of the Uchiha clan's Sharingan. The jutsu's exclusivity to this advanced dojutsu immediately sets it apart as a technique of immense prestige and danger, reserved for only the most elite Uchiha. Thematically, Amaterasu embodies destruction and inevitability. Its black flames burn relentlessly, consuming their target until nothing remains, regardless of the material or defense. This mirrors the Uchiha clan's tragic history of conflict, sacrifice, and self-destruction. For Itachi Uchiha, the first character to wield Amaterasu, the jutsu symbolizes the annihilation he brought upon his own clan. His use of the black flames reflects the weight of his actions, uncompromising, devastating, and irreversible. When Sasuke inherits Amaterasu, it takes on a new dimension, representing his burning hatred toward the Leaf Village and his ability to channel that rage with precision. This thematic evolution underscores Amaterasu's narrative depth, making it more than just a flashy attack. Amaterasu's mechanics, power, and cost. To understand Amaterasu's initial dominance and eventual nerf, we must first examine its mechanics. Amaterasu is a fire-based ninjutsu that manifests black flames at the focal point of the user's gaze. Unlike traditional fire jutsu, which require hand signs or physical projection, Amaterasu spawns directly on the target, making it nearly impossible to dodge. The flames are described as burning hotter than the sun, capable of incinerating anything, metal, stone, or even other flames. They continue to burn for 7 days and 7 nights, or until the target is completely consumed, unless extinguished by specific countermeasures. However, Amaterasu's power comes at a steep cost. The Mangekyo Sharingan, required to cast the jutsu, drains significant chakra and strains the user's body. Each use causes physical pain, particularly to the eyes, often resulting in bleeding. Prolonged use accelerates the user's descent into blindness, a hallmark of the Mangekyo's curse. This high-risk, high-reward dynamic makes Amaterasu a double-edged sword, reserved for critical moments where its overwhelming power justifies the toll it exacts. Amaterasu's introduction, a force of nature. Amaterasu makes its debut in Naruto during Itachi's confrontation with Jiraiya. Trapped inside the stomach of Jiraiya's summoned toad, Itachi uses Amaterasu to escape. The audience doesn't witness the flames directly, but the aftermath, a massive, smoldering hole in the toad's stomach and the surrounding wall, speaks to the jutsu's destructive potential. Jiraiya, a legendary ninja, requires a complex sealing jutsu, prepared over a significant period, to contain the black flames. This moment establishes Amaterasu as a technique of unparalleled power, capable of overcoming even the most resilient defenses. In Naruto Shippuden, Amaterasu's awe-inspiring nature is fully showcased during Itachi's battle with Sasuke. Itachi uses the jutsu to extinguish Sasuke's fireball, a feat that defies logic, flames so intense they burn other flames. The black flames consume the Uchiha hideout in seconds, leaving Sasuke scrambling to escape. He survives only through Orochimaru's substitution jutsu, a rare technique that underscores Amaterasu's near-unstoppable nature. This sequence cements Amaterasu as a jutsu that rewrites the rules of combat, a weapon befitting a character as enigmatic and formidable as Itachi. Sasuke's Amaterasu, power and control. When Sasuke awakens his Mangekyo Sharingan after his battle with Itachi, he inherits Amaterasu and introduces a new facet to the jutsu: control. Unlike Itachi, who primarily uses Amaterasu as a blunt instrument of destruction, Sasuke gains the ability to manipulate the black flames through a technique called Kagutsuchi, or Inferno-style flame control. This allows him to shape and direct the flames, expanding Amaterasu's versatility. Sasuke's first use of Amaterasu is a defining moment in Naruto Shippuden. During his fight with Killer Bee, the Eight-Tails Jinchuriki, Sasuke unleashes Amaterasu and obliterates the second strongest tailed beast in a single shot. The Eight-Tails, a colossal creature with immense power, is reduced to ash almost instantly. This feat highlights Amaterasu's effectiveness against large targets, as the jutsu's precision, spawned by the user's gaze, makes dodging nearly impossible for such massive opponents. The scene is a testament to Amaterasu's overwhelming power and its suitability as a villain's ultimate weapon. The thematic weight of Amaterasu. Amaterasu's narrative significance extends beyond its mechanics. For Itachi, the jutsu is a metaphor for his role as the Uchiha clan's executioner. The black flames, which destroy without discrimination, parallel his mission to eradicate his clan to prevent a coup against the Leaf Village. The pain and blindness caused by Amaterasu mirror Itachi's internal suffering and the sacrifices he makes for peace. His use of the jutsu is sparse, reserved for moments of absolute necessity, reflecting his restrained and calculated nature. For Sasuke, Amaterasu represents his inherited rage and desire for vengeance. After learning the truth about Itachi's sacrifice, Sasuke's hatred shifts toward the Leaf Village, which he blames for his brother's suffering. His ability to control the black flames symbolizes his attempt to channel this anger into a focused mission. However, as Sasuke's character arc evolves from vengeance to redemption, Amaterasu's role in his arsenal diminishes, reflecting his shift away from destructive impulses. This thematic interplay between the jutsu and its users adds depth to Amaterasu's presence in the story. The beginning of the nerf. Despite its initial portrayal as an unstoppable force, Amaterasu's power begins to wane as Naruto Shippuden progresses. This nerf is most evident during the 5 Kage Summit arc, where Sasuke's use of Amaterasu reveals inconsistencies in its effectiveness. In one instance, Sasuke molds the black flames into a shield to counter the Raikage's lightning-fast attack. The strategy works. The Raikage is forced to sacrifice an arm to avoid being consumed, but the flames take an inexplicably long time to burn through his flesh. This stands in stark contrast to earlier feats, such as incinerating the Eight-Tails in seconds or blasting through Jiraiya's toad stomach in an instant. The nerf becomes even more apparent when Sasuke accidentally hits a samurai with Amaterasu. The flames, which once tore through resilient materials with ease, struggle to burn through the samurai's 1.5-meter thick armor. This allows Konohamaru and Temari to intervene, removing the armor and saving the samurai with minimal injury. Such a scenario would have been unthinkable earlier in the series, when Amaterasu's flames were depicted as unrelenting and instantaneous. Perhaps the most striking example of Amaterasu's diminished power comes during Sasuke's confrontation with Gaara. Gaara's sand shield, which previously failed to block Sasuke's base attacks, somehow halts Amaterasu. The flames, capable of burning through a tailed beast and a toad's stomach, are treated like ordinary fire, easily blocked by a thin layer of sand. This contradicts Amaterasu's established mechanics and underscores the extent of its nerf. Why was Amaterasu nerfed? The nerfing of Amaterasu is a deliberate narrative choice driven by the need to maintain balance in Naruto Shippuden's story. When Sasuke inherits Amaterasu, he becomes a secondary protagonist with significant focus in multiple arcs. Giving such an overpowered jutsu to a character central to the plot creates a problem. If Amaterasu retained its original might, Sasuke could theoretically one-shot any opponent, rendering most conflicts trivial. Imagine Sasuke encasing enemies in an orb of black flames or lacing his Susanoo sword with Amaterasu. Few could survive such attacks. To prevent Sasuke from overshadowing the story, the writers introduced several countermeasures and inconsistencies to weaken Amaterasu. These include reduced speed and potency. Early in the series, Amaterasu incinerates targets instantly. By the 5 Kage summit, it takes significantly longer to consume even minor obstacles, such as armor or a single limb. This slowdown makes it easier for opponents to counter or escape the flames. New counters. The introduction of abilities like the Rinnegan's Gakido, which absorbs ninjutsu, and Shinra Tensei, which repels attacks, provides convenient ways to neutralize Amaterasu. For example, Nagato uses Shinra Tensei to dispel Amaterasu during his fight with Itachi, despite the flames already burning his body. This contradicts the jutsu's established rule of burning until the target is destroyed, as a shockwave should not extinguish flames of such intensity. Underutilization by Sasuke. After gaining the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, which removes the risk of blindness, Sasuke uses Amaterasu sparingly in critical fights. Against Kabuto, he employs it defensively to burn spiderwebs rather than offensively, despite his ability to control the flames and avoid lethal outcomes, as demonstrated in his fight with Killer Bee. This selective use feels like a narrative choice to limit Amaterasu's impact. Narrative focus on other abilities. As Sasuke's arsenal expands, particularly with his Susanoo and Chidori variants, Amaterasu takes a back seat. The writers prioritize new techniques to showcase Sasuke's growth, relegating Amaterasu to a situational tool rather than a primary weapon. Missed opportunities for Amaterasu. Amaterasu's nerf is particularly frustrating because of the missed opportunities to showcase its potential. Sasuke's ability to control the black flames opens up endless creative possibilities, yet the series rarely capitalizes on them. For example, Amaterasu Sphere. Sasuke could envelop enemies in a sphere of black flames, trapping them in an inescapable inferno. Such a technique would be nearly impossible to counter without advanced teleportation or absorption abilities. Susanoo integration. Lacing Susanoo's sword or arrows with Amaterasu could create devastating attacks. Sasuke briefly uses this strategy against White Zetsu, but never again in major fights. Imagine a perfect Susanoo wielding an Amaterasu-infused blade against Naruto's Kurama avatar. The flames could have turned the tide of their final battle. Strategic use in key moments. During the war arc, when Obito is overtaken by Black Zetsu, Sasuke shoots an Amaterasu arrow, which Zetsu blocks with Rinnegan rods. A regular Amaterasu, spawned directly on the target, would have been harder to counter and could have ended the war prematurely. Similarly, Sasuke's failure to use Amaterasu offensively against Kabuto or in the final battle against Naruto feels like a missed opportunity to showcase the jutsu's full potential. Amaterasu in the war arc. By the war arc, Amaterasu's role diminishes further. Sasuke uses it to fuse with Naruto's wind style, Rasen Shuriken, creating arrows of black flames. While visually impressive, this technique feels underwhelming compared to what Sasuke could achieve with Kagutsuchi. Characters like Madara and Kaguya, with their ability to absorb or negate ninjutsu, render Amaterasu ineffective. Even against the Ten Tails, Amaterasu's impact is minimal, failing to live up to its earlier feats. The introduction of Gakido and Shinra Tensei as counters further weakens Amaterasu. Gakido's ninjutsu absorption is a plausible counter, as Amaterasu is a chakra-based technique. However, Shinra Tensei's ability to dispel the flames even after they've begun burning a target defies the jutsu's established mechanics. This inconsistency highlights the writer's efforts to limit Amaterasu's dominance in the face of increasingly powerful antagonists. The final battle, Amaterasu's last stand. In the climactic battle between Naruto and Sasuke at the Valley of the End, Amaterasu's nerf reaches its peak. Sasuke uses the jutsu sparingly, despite its potential to shift the fight in his favor. For example, lacing his perfect Susanoo sword with Amaterasu could have burned Naruto's Kurama avatar during their close-quarters clashes. Instead, Sasuke relies on other techniques, such as Chidori and Susanoo arrows. In the final Rasengan Chidori clash, Sasuke infuses his Chidori with Amaterasu, but the flames have no significant impact. Early in the series, Amaterasu consumed Sasuke's fireball effortlessly, suggesting it could have obliterated Naruto's Rasengan. Instead, it serves as a minor power boost, neutralized by Naruto's basic chakra cloak. This moment encapsulates Amaterasu's fall from grace. A jutsu once capable of burning anything is now easily countered by a thin layer of chakra. The legacy of Amaterasu. Amaterasu's nerf is one of the most significant in Naruto Shippuden. What began as a jutsu of mythic proportions, capable of burning through tailed beasts, resilient defenses, and even other flames, became a situational tool that Sasuke rarely used effectively. This decline was a narrative necessity to prevent Sasuke from becoming an unstoppable force, but it came at the cost of the jutsu's mystique. If Itachi had remained Amaterasu's sole user, the jutsu might have retained its godlike status. As a tragic anti-hero with limited screen time, Itachi's use of Amaterasu was restrained, preserving its aura of invincibility. Sasuke's prominence as a secondary protagonist, however, required the writers to temper Amaterasu's power to maintain narrative balance. The result is a jutsu that, by the end of Shippuden, feels like a gimmick rather than the world-ending force it once was. Amaterasu in Boruto. A brief note. In Boruto, Naruto, Next Generations, Amaterasu's presence is minimal, and its treatment is often criticized by fans. While Boruto is considered non-canonical by some, it further dilutes Amaterasu's legacy, relegating it to a minor role in Sasuke's arsenal. This reinforces the sense that Amaterasu's prime was in Naruto and early Shippuden, before its nerf took full effect. Amaterasu is a testament to the highs and lows of Naruto's power scaling. Its introduction as a devastating, near-unstoppable jutsu captivated audiences, while its thematic ties to Itachi and Sasuke added depth to its narrative role. However, as Sasuke's prominence grew, the writers faced the challenge of balancing his power, leading to Amaterasu's gradual nerf. Through reduced potency, new counters, and underutilization, the Black Flames lost their fearsome reputation, becoming a shadow of their former glory. Despite this, Amaterasu remains one of Naruto's most iconic jutsu, a symbol of the Uchiha clan's tragic legacy and destructive potential. Its nerf may have been necessary for the story, but it left fans longing for the days when the black flames burned brighter than the sun itself. What are your thoughts on Amaterasu's journey? Did its nerf ruin its legacy, or was it a necessary sacrifice for Naruto Shippuden's narrative? Share your thoughts, and let's keep the conversation going. Word count, $4,000.